Hello student and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Make sure you click the like button and you subscribe. Today we want to learn about procurement methods, and the following are procurement methods. We have open tender, two-stage tendering, design competition, restricted tendering, direct procurement, request for quotation, electronic reverse auction, low value procurement, force account, competitive negotiation, request for proposal, and lastly framework agreements. What is open tender? Open tender, this is a bidding process that is open to all qualified bidders and where the sealed bids are opened usually in public for scrutiny and are chosen on the basis of price and quality. Open tender is also a competitive process used by organizations or government agencies to acquire goods, services, and works. It involves public announcement that involves advertisements, official websites, or public notices. Accessibility, as there are no restrictions on who can participate. Submission of bids or proposals in response to procurement documents. Bid opening, that is transparency and accountability. Evaluation, which may include the price, quality, compliance with specifications, and delivery timelines. And lastly, award for suppliers who meet the evaluation criteria. Restricted tendering is a procurement method where the organization or government agency limits the number of suppliers, contractors, or service providers invited to submit some bids or proposal for a specific project or contract. A procuring entity may use restricted tendering if the following conditions are satisfied. Competition for contract, because of the complex or specialized nature of goods, works, or services, is limited to pre-qualified contractors. The time and cost required to examine and evaluate a large number of tenders would be disappropriate to the value of goods, works, or services to be procured. There is only few non-suppliers of the goods, works, or services as may be prescribed in. Direct procurement. Direct procurement is also known as direct sourcing or direct purchasing. It involves the acquisition of goods, materials, or services that are directly related to the company's core business operations or production processes. A procuring entity may use direct procurement as allowed under Section 2, 3, or 3 as long as the purpose is not to avoid competition. A procuring entity may use direct procurement if the following are satisfied. 1. There is only one person who can supply the goods, works, or services being procured. There is no reasonable alternative or substitute for the goods, services, or works. There is an urgent need for the goods, works, or services being procured. Because of the urgency, the other available methods are impractical. The circumstances that gave rise to the urgency were not foreseeable and were not the results of dilatory conduct on the part of the procuring entity. The next method is request for proposal. Request for proposal is a two-envelope procurement method that can be used for goods, services, or works. It is used when suppliers, contractors, or service providers are expected to propose a specific solution, methodology, and work plan to fulfilling a specific requirements. Firms are required to submit technical and financial proposals in two separate envelopes. Force account. Force account is a procurement method used in constructions and public works projects. It is also when a project owner or client directly hires labor, equipment, and materials to carry out constructions or maintenance work instead of contracting with an external construction company. Electronic reverse auction means an online real-time purchasing techniques auction utilized by the procuring entity to select the successful submissions, which involves presentation by suppliers or contractors of successfully lowered bids during a scheduled period of time and the automatic evaluation of bids. The next is design competition. Design competition, this is used to determine the best architectural, physical planning, and any other design scheme, engineering, or graphic. The invitation, evaluation, and award will be as per the act. The best 3 assessed designs are given an honorarium. All bidders transfer copyrights, intellectual property rights, and patents relating to their design. Upon completion of the design competition, all the submitted design schemes shall become the property of the procuring entity. The next one is framework agreement. A procuring entity may enter into a framework agreement through open tender if the procurement value is within the thresholds prescribed under regulations to this Act. The required quantity of goods, works, or non-consultancy services cannot be determined at the time of entering into the agreement. A minimum of 7 alternative vendors are included for each category. The maximum for the term for the framework agreement shall be 3 years, and for agreement exceeding 1 year, a value for money assessment undertaken annually to determine whether the terms designed in the framework agreement remain competitive. The next one is two-stage tendering. Two-stage tendering, a procuring entity may engage in procurement by the means of two-stage tendering when, due to complicity and inadequate knowledge on its part or advancement in technology, it is not feasible for the procuring entity to formulate detailed specifications for the goods or works or non-consultancy services in order to obtain the most satisfactory solution to its procurement needs. In the first stage of two-stage tendering proceedings, initial tenders contain their proposals without a tender price. Request for quotation. Request for quotation is a procurement method used by organizations to solicit price quotations or bids from suppliers or vendors for specific products or services. It's mostly used in readily available goods and services and is suitable for the situation where the organization has a clear understanding of its requirements and seeks competitive pricing from multiple suppliers. We have low-value procurement. Low-value procurement is a procurement method used for the acquisition of goods, services, or construction works that fall below a certain financial threshold, typically a relatively low monetary value. Last one is competitive negotiation. Competitive negotiation is a procurement method that combines elements of both competition and negotiation. This method is often used for high value or complex acquisition. It's used in situations where the organization or buyer has complex procurement requirements and seeks to engage with potential suppliers or vendors through a competitive yet flexible process. That is the end of our today's topic. Make sure you like and subscribe.